Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel German with Ajla, where I provide you with practical German lessons with a special focus on clear and super easy grammar explanations. In today's video, I want to cover a topic that is a real nightmare for anyone who is learning German, and these are nouns. First of all, I want to answer the question what a noun is. Nouns are words that we use for persons, objects, ideas, and so on. Table is a noun, or house is also a noun. In the German language, nouns are always used with articles. These articles are really important because they are showing us the gender of a noun. So whether a noun is feminine, masculine, or neutral. And for anyone who is learning German, it is so difficult to figure out which article to use. Der, die, or das. If you are also struggling with this topic, don't worry, I got you on this. In today's video, I will give you some really useful tips and tricks that will make everything so much easier. But before we start with today's lesson, I have one more question. Are you even subscribed to this YouTube channel? If not, then what are you doing? Please subscribe right now so you don't miss out on many amazing German lessons in the future. Okay, so if you are ready, we are starting right now. In the introduction, we already covered what nouns are. Just to quickly recap, nouns are words that we are using for persons, objects, ideas, and so on. When talking about German nouns, we are automatically speaking about genders as well, because every German noun has a gender. So every noun is either masculine, feminine, or neutral, and this is actually what makes the process of learning nouns so difficult, because for every word that you learn, you also have to remember its gender, and this can be really stressful and overwhelming at the beginning and even later on. So today I just want to give you some tips to make it a bit easier for you. Before we begin, I want to quickly mention that the document we're using for today's lesson is a special material I created just for you, an A11 cheat sheet that includes the most important vocabulary and grammar for complete beginners. This document is extremely helpful both for learning and for repeating the basics. It's not available for download at this moment, but it will be very soon. So if you'd like to get your own copy once it's released, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any updates. Let's start off with the most important information about German nouns or genders. How it works. In German, there are 3 genders: masculine, feminine, and neutral, and it also really helps if you mark them with the colors, because you have some kind of visual representation as well, which is always helpful while learning something. When speaking about gender, it is essential to know that there are 2 types of gender: biological gender. In German, we say biologisches Geschlecht, biological gender, and grammatical gender. In German, we would say grammatisches Geschlecht, grammatical gender. What is the difference? Biological gender is obvious or logical. This means when you are looking at a word, it would make sense for this word to be, for example, masculine. Here we have a good example of that. Der Vater which means the father. Other examples would be der Mann, the man, und der Bruder, the brother. When looking at these words, for us, it is just logical that they are connected to a male person, so therefore the gender of the noun will also be male. And it works just like that for the other genders as well. Looking at the feminine biological gender, here we have nouns like die Frau, the woman, die Mutter, the mother, und die Schwester, the sister. And neutral nouns, das Kind, the child, and das Baby, the baby. As you can see, biological gender is not hard at all, because just by looking at a word, for us it is really natural to conclude what gender this word will have. But unfortunately, not many German nouns have biological gender. Most of the nouns have grammatical gender, which means that the gender will not be as obvious as in biological gender. We already touched a little bit on grammatical gender, so what is that? But there is also grammatical gender, which is not logical or obvious in any way and must be memorized individually for each noun. And this is where problems start. So here, with those words, the gender is just not logical at all for us. For how we see the world, it just does not make any sense. And it also is not matching with genders of words in other languages, which means we just have to remember them. You have to memorize the gender for each word, which is quite a lot. This is really challenging, but it is not impossible. So to give you an example, der Tisch is masculine. Why? Nobody really knows. It just is. So we have to remember while learning this word, Tisch, it is masculine. So I'm using der Tisch. Other examples of grammatical gender would be der Kaffee, the coffee, der Brief, the letter. Feminine words, for example, die Couch, the couch, die Milch, the milk, die Post, the mail. And also some neutral words, das Sofa, the sofa, das Brot, the bread, and das Papier, the paper. We really don't know why these words have these genders. It is just really random. This is the best word to describe it. It is random, so it just has to be learned, it has to be memorized. Genders are shown through articles. And maybe you already have seen this. When using a German noun, we always have to add an article. Why? Because this article is basically showing us the gender. The article is expressing the gender of a noun. Here we have different articles. Bestimmter Artikel, this is how we call it in German. In English, definite article. And these articles we are using when speaking about something specific, about something concrete. The definite article for the male gender is der. The article for the feminine gender is die. And the article for the neutral gender is das. Der masculine, die feminine, das neutral. So this is the definite article, as I said, when speaking about something specific. We also have unbestimmter Artikel in German. So this is the indefinite article. The indefinite articles are ein for masculine, eine for feminine, and ein for neutral. Ein masculine, eine feminine, and ein neutral. To make this a little bit easier, you can actually compare these articles with the ones that we use in English. The definite articles, der, die, das, are something like the in English. And the indefinite articles, ein, eine, und ein, are something like a in English. So let me just give you a quick example to make this a little bit easier for you, to make it a bit more understandable. In German we could say, das ist der neue Tisch. Das ist der neue Tisch. In English we would translate it like this. This is the new table. This is the new table. Just imagine the situation. You bought a new table, you brought it home, and now you are showing it to somebody and saying, das ist der neue Tisch. This is the new table. So we are talking about a really specific table, not just any table in the world, but the one that you bought. And that's why in German here we have to use the definite article, because we are talking about a concrete object, about this one specifically. Let me give you another example. We could say, ein Tisch ist praktisch. Ein Tisch ist praktisch, meaning a table is practical. A table is practical. Ein Tisch ist praktisch. In this situation, we are basically saying that a table, any table, is practical. It's good to have one, but we are not talking about a specific table, but just about tables in general. To conclude, whenever we are speaking generally about something, then we are using indefinite articles in German. There's one more case. For example, when you are speaking about one piece of something, then you could also use the indefinite articles in German, since ein also means one, so not just a, it could also mean one. We have learned a lot about the German nouns and their genders. So the next question that naturally comes up is how to learn all of these nouns, how to memorize all of these genders. Listen, there are a lot of methods, but the one that I find really helpful is using a gender organizer. This method is pretty old school, but trust me when I tell you it is so effective. With this method, you will definitely see results. This gender organizer that you can see on your screen is the one that I made myself, and right now I want to show you how it works. Write every new German noun you learn into this table in both singular and plural. Review this list regularly. Repetition and visual exposure will help you remember the correct gender over long term. Good luck from Ajla, from me. As you can see in this table, we have the 3 genders as well as the plural, and of course the articles that we use in those situations. For example, der maskulin, die feminin, das neutral und die plural. In today's lesson, we haven't really focused on the plural. We will do that in another video, but for now, remember, when a noun is in plural, we also have to show this through an article, and here we would use the article D, just like we would use for feminine words. So again, here, article D. Imagine you have learned a new German word, and this word is Tisch. You can see the word in your book, and it says that this word is masculine. So then you take your gender organizer and you write this word down in the masculine category, so under der, maskulin. You also want to look at the plural form and add it into your gender organizer. You can see, oh, the plural form is Tische. Let me write it down. You write it here in the plural category, die Tische. And this is the complete way of learning a German noun. And this is so important to remember. When learning a noun, you need to learn the gender, and you need to learn the plural form. In order to be able to do this, you need to have a system, and this is the perfect way of having a good working system. So whenever you are learning a word, you are just adding it to your gender organizer. And what is really good, whenever you are adding a new element, you will be exposed to the words that you already have written. And with this exposure again and again, with this repetition, the words are more likely to stick, so you are more likely to remember them for the long term. This system is brilliant if you ask me, and I would definitely suggest you to use a gender organizer. It doesn't have to be mine, could be really any that you can find online. But if you would like to use my organizer, because I think it looks really good, you can find the link in the description. And here you have many pages to fill out. Okay, so this is everything for now. This is not everything on the nouns. We also have the topic of endings, because sometimes endings of nouns can tell us which article or which gender we have to use, but we will talk about this in the next video. This is it for today. The lesson is over. I hope that it was really helpful for you. If there's anything left unclear, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me in the comments. Also, if you have some video suggestions, if there is a special topic you want me to talk about, you can leave this in the comments as well. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck with learning German. And remember, the most important thing, consistency is key. Keep going, don't give up. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, auf Wiedersehen.